शलाकय अमृतं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we are discussing Bhakti Shastri NOD. So today we will directly go to Srila Prabhupada summary study of Bhaktivedanta Sindhu Srila Prabhupada. Or directly we will be, because last two sessions we directly saw from Acharya. So characteristics of pure devotional service. This was what we were seeing last time. So how many characteristics were there? Anyone? Anyone remembers? How many? I request all the devotees to be present.
Six.
Yes. 6. Okay. Can anyone name or try to name what are the 6?
भौतिक क्लेशों से मुक्ति मिलना।
तो क्लेशाग्नि. Okay, क्लेशाग्नि. What else?
सुखदायी।
Huh?
Sukhada moksha
Subhada. Yes, Subhada. Next.
moksha laguta something that
Moksha laguta krit. Yes. Sudurlava.
Sudurlabha.
Yes. What else? Sandrananda Vishesh Atma. And Sri Krishna Akarshani.
Krishna.
Okay. So these are the 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. And in any other devotional service which is not fully pure, these will be visible to certain extent. It will be visible. Okay. So now Srila Prabhupada, as we read in that book directly Bhaktivedanta Sindhu, where in 29th chapter of 3rd canto, Kapil Muni is talking about pure devotional service. So Prabhupada is saying, okay, Sanatan Gopalpu, you can read from here.
Yes, sir. Highlighted part only, bro. Complete.
No. You can read from beginning.
Okay. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, verse 12 and 13, Srila Kapil Dev, while instructing his mother, has given the following characteristic of pure devotional service. My dear mother, those who are my pure devotees and who have no desire for material benefit or philosophical speculation have their minds so much engaged in my service that they are never interested in asking me for anything except to be engaged in that service. They do not even beg to live in my abode with me.
Okay, 1 minute. So I will show you here also. That we understand what discussion is going on. Ah. Yes, this is a अहेतुकी अव्यवहिता या भक्ति पुरुषोत्तमे सालोक्य सामीप्य सारोप्य एकत्वम अप्युता दीयमानं न गृह्णन्ति बिना मत्सेवनं जना. This is 12 to 14 verses. Okay, so the Prabhupada is mentioning here. Yes, here is this is 12 and 13. The verse 12 and 13. So we are seeing the 14th one. So one is here mentioned. So where what is a pure devotional service which is mentioned? My pure devotee don't have any desire for material benefit or philosophical speculation. तो अहेतुकी अव्यवहिता, अहेतुकी अव्यवहिता. अहेतुकी means what is अहेतुकी? अन्नविलासिता शून्यम. अव्यवहिता means ज्ञान कर्मादि अनावृतम. Binamat sevanam, so they want seva, Anukul and Krishna sevanam. So we have discussed all these things. Okay? So here it's mentioned. So they do not want any philosophical benefit or any speculation or any material benefit. And their mind is so much engaged in my service that they are never interested in asking me anything except to be engaged in that service. So primary characteristic of the Suddha Bhakti is this. As we here seeing. Anna vilashita sunyam. They do not want any material benefit. Kuch nahi chahiye. Any philosophical speculation. Gyan karmadi anavritam. And they only want to serve favorably. So that is, their mind is always engaged in the service of the Lord. Okay, this is that. So now you see here, it's mentioned in 11th canto. Okay, somebody wants to do bhakti. Why somebody wants to do bhakti? So asya niskam bhaktasya ko anyo artho ato param kim phalam avishtam bhavati. What other result some niskam devotees may ask for? Okay, somebody is engaged in devotional service. What result he wants? So as here mentioned in the verse here, he does not desire any philosophical speculation or material benefit. So the question is asked by this is Biswanath Thakur is asking ki, what else a devotee requires after doing bhakti? What result he wants? Kintu tadev punaha punaram utra katha shravanam adi keva adikameva phalam. So he's telling the result is what? More hearing and more chanting. Punara. Punah. Okay? Punah. Amutra katha shravanadi kameva phalam. This is only the phalam. What? Katha shravana adi or kirtana, shravana. These all things should be done punah. This is only the phalam. Okay? So what is the phalam of Niskam Bhakta? What he wants after doing devotional service? He wants to just do the same activity punah. That is the result. Now what about the Jnani? Ten Jnanino yatha sadhyo prapto. But Jnani people, if they attain their sadhya, satyam sadhanasya tyaga uktaha. They give up their sadhana. Jnani, so Jnani, first coming to Jnana Yoga, one goes through the Niskam Karma Yoga or Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga, in Karma Yoga, one purifies one's heart and comes to know that he is not this body, he is soul. Okay, by doing the work in detached way, detached way, one comes to know I am not this body, I am a soul. So that is called Tvam Padartha Jnanam. Means he comes to know that I am not this body, I am soul. Tvam Padartha Jnanam. Now he also does some other yoga like as we have learnt in Bhagavad Gita. 6th chapter. Before coming to Ashtanga Yoga, the prerequisite is Niskam Karma Yoga, means his heart should be purified. Okay. So before he comes to yoga, he also practices some Sankhya, because he's going to enter into a place of meditation, place of contemplation. So he has to practice that while he's doing his work, Niskam Karma. Okay. So that is why this it's mentioned after you want to come to Jnana Yoga, then you have to give up your Niskam Karma Yoga. That is the whole thing. Because you understand now I'm not this body, I'm a soul, then why I should work? Let me give up the work. Karma arpanam, and I will take sannyas. That is Jnana Yoga beginning. You give up your work, you give up your not only give up the result of the work, but you will give up the work only. And then you directly take sannyas and enter into the forest and then practice jnana. What is the Gyan sadhana? Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Santir, Arjunam. All these kind of qualities, which we call 20 items of knowledge. The Gyan Yogi sadhana, that is his sadhana, he is to practice that. By practicing what he comes to know, about Brahman he comes to know. That is called Tad Padarth Jnanam. Tvam Padarth Jnanam is to know about oneself. I am not this body, I am a soul. And Tad Padarth Jnanam is to know about Brahman. If he is a Brahma Jnani. Okay. And then when he wants to merge into Brahman, then he has to give up the Gyan process also. And he has to take only Bhakti. But that Bhakti is not, don't talk about our Bhakti. That only Bhakti means he does not do Jnana Yoga. He just does Bhakti Yoga. That is called Mai Chananya Yogena Bhaktir Abhivicharani. In that sloka only comes. Okay. So then he enters into Brahman. So any result you want to get, either Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan, ultimately one needs Bhakti. With the karma and jnana, one cannot enter into Brahman or cannot go to Paramatma or even Bhagwan. One has to give up. But that bhakti, kinchit bhakti will be there, little bhakti will be there, but that will be pure in the sense. In the sense means it's not mixed with karma and jnana, it has to go directly merge. But why he is not able to take up the full bhakti? Because he does not meet a sadhu of Vaishnava sadhu. So therefore he is meeting some Jnani sadhu. So Jnani sadhu says you have to go to Brahman, just you have to take the bhakti and then enter. So he accepts bhakti to get his goal. Means भक्ति महारानी को नौकरानी बना दिया एक तरीके से. He is not accepting bhakti to attain bhakti, more seva. He just wants to merge. So that's why it's mentioned the Jnani first gives up Niskam Karma Yoga, later he gives up Jnana Yoga also, and then takes bhakti and then merges into Brahman. So Tena Jnanino Yatha Sadhya Prapto Satyam Sadhanasya Tyagukta. Achieve the result, he gives up his sadhana. तथा भक्तस्य साध्य भक्ति प्राप्तो सत्याम साधन भक्ते श्रवण कीर्तन आदि काया नैव त्याग. ही नेवर गिव्स अप. श्रवण कीर्तन का जो भक्ति है उसका आदि, श्रवण कीर्तन आदि 964 limbs, ही नेवर गिव्स अप. बट ज्ञानी गिव्स अप. वंस भक्त को अपना साध्य मिल भी जाता है, फिर भी वो साधना को नहीं छोड़ता है. ठीक है. कौन? भक्त नहीं छोड़ता है. भक्त नहीं छोड़. क्यों? प्रत्युत प्रेम रस रूपाया साध्य भक्ते रेणु भाव रूपा श्रवण कीर्तनादि भक्ति पूर्वतो अपि सहस्र गुणिता भवती थी. Because what happens, it is mentioned कि once one comes to the prema stage, actually, by hearing and chanting, reading, all doing those things, then the same chanting and hearing, lot of rasa will come. Anubhava, it is said. Means emotions, it will become ecstatic. Lot of emotions will come while chanting, while hearing. And then such activity will become 1,000 times more gunita, means more, with more eagerness and with more intensity one does. 1,000 times increases. Sahasra gunita. Same chanting and hearing what he is doing in sadhana bhakti, it becomes that much intense. That much he becomes eager for it and he relishes that 1,000 times. So therefore he never gives up his sadhana. Okay. So that is why Prabhupada, or this is Kapil Muni saying here to his mother, my dear devotees, they do not aspire for philosophical speculation or material benefit because they get lot of happiness. So that is the primary characteristics of Suddha Bhakti, that it itself is self-sufficient. It does not require something else to be added to become happy, or to go for something else by taking the help of Bhakti. Okay, then we also saw actual position of devotees. We also saw that how devotees, they do not ask for any mukti and they want seva. So we saw that also here. Binamat sevanam jana, salokya sashti samipya. So they do not want. Correct? So these are the 5 kinds of mukti. Salokya means same spiritual planet. Samipya means personal associate, becoming personal associate of the Lord. In proximity. Sarupya, attaining 400 spiritual form, identical in appearance to the Lord. Sashti means having same opulence equal to the Lord. And Sayuj means Vaishnava don't want Sayuj, that is merging into personal form, less Brahman. So this is there. So this is the position of devotee here, and this is the characteristics of Suddha Bhakti, that Bhakta does not want any other material or uh, philosophical benefit, anything. Then, in above statement by Kapil Dev from Srimad Bhagavatam, the actual position of pure devotee described. Okay, you can read ahead. Just go ahead, read.
So he said, from where, Prabhu? He satisfied?
From here, from in the above
Okay.
statement.
In the wish statement by Kapil Dev from Srimad Bhagavatam, the actual position of the pure devotee is described, and the primary characteristic of devotional service are also defined. Further characteristics of devotional service are described by Rup Goswami with evidences from different scriptures. He states that there are 6 characteristics of pure devotional service, which are as follows. First, pure devotional service bring immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. Second, pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Third, pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. Fourth, pure devotional service is rarely achieved. Fifth, those in pure devotional service derive even the conception of liberation. Sixth, pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. Krishna is all.
So this is that. Kleshagni Shubhadar, Moksha Laguta Krit Sudarlava, Sandrananda Visesatma, Sri Krishna Karshani. So Prem Bhakti, Bhav Bhakti and Sadhana Bhakti, all 3 are Suddha Bhakti. Okay, they are pure devotion service. So in Prem Bhakti, you will see all the 6 characteristics. All Klesagni, Subhada, Moksha Lagutakrit, Durlabha, Sandranand Visheshatma, and Sri Krishna Akarshan. All 6. In Bhav Bhakti, you will see the 4 characteristics. 1, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Means, first means Klesagni, second means Subhada, and then Moksha Lagutakrit will come. According to here, how Prabhupada is translated, we are discussing. The third will not come, the 4th will come. Pure devotion is rarely achieved. And 5th is, it derives the conception of liberation. So Moksha Lagutakrit and Sudurlabha. This is also felt in Bhav Bhakti. So first 2 and this 4th and 5th. And in the Sadhana Bhakti, you will feel the 1st and 2nd only. That Kleshagni and Subhada. These 2 will come in Sadhana Bhakti, which we are doing now. So it means even if you attain prema, these 6 things keeps happening. Like somebody attains prema if he does some sinful activity, just for sake, if he does, then Klesha Agni. His Klesha Agni means that work will not affect him. The reaction will not affect him. Prabhupada is going to give example. So in Prema Bhakti also this happens. So, but in Sadhana Bhakti, we will not be able to experience Moksha Laguta Krit, means the moksha is of less importance, or Sudurlabha, that how pure devotion service is very Durlabha. We will not be able to feel that. That comes in Bhava Bhakti, feeling. And then Sri Krishna Akarshani and lot of bliss, transcendental bliss, that we cannot feel in Sadhana Bhakti. So this is also mentioned. Okay, that will be going to see ahead also. So these 6 characteristics are in this way said. Now, Krishna is, yes, go ahead.
Krishna is all attractive, but pure devotional service attracts even him. This means that pure devotional service is even transcendently stronger than Krishna himself because it is Krishna's internal potency.
Yes, this is very important. Bhakti is stronger than Krishna. See, clearly mentioned. Krishna is all attractive, but Bhakti attracts even him. It means who is more attractive? Bhakti is more attractive. Yes.
In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that one should surrender unto him, giving up all other engagements. The Lord also gives his word there that he will protect surrendered soul from the reactions of all sinful activities. Srila-
Okay. Okay. So see, actually, if you see here, so this is a addition. What Srila Prabhupada, his contribution here is very clearly seen. Prabhupada not only discuss Shastra, but he also makes it how we have to go ahead, how we have to practice also. So after this Kleshagni Subhida, immediately we will come to Kleshagni, how the Klesha are the three types. But Prabhupada adds here this point. What is the point? This. In Bhagavad Gita also, what is the shloka? Sardharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tam sarapapibhyo mokshesami masucha. So, whom and when Lord protects someone from sinful activity? Now, the first thing we are going to discuss here. So, the sin is a great concern because sin gives suffering. So, when Lord protects after full surrender, and whom Lord protects? The surrendered soul. So, it's mentioned the surrendered soul. Once he has given up all other engagements and he surrenders, then Lord protects him. Okay? So, that faith he should have, and that is called Dridha Shraddha. This is all in Dridha Shraddha. Means Krishna Bhakti Kailya Sarva Karam Krit Hai. By doing Krishna Bhakti, I will attain everything. I need not to do anything else separate from Krishna Bhakti. So that is Sardharman Parityajya. That is the beginning of Suddha Bhakti. The Suddha Bhakti means I will only do Krishna Bhakti. No other engagement. So that faith he has. Shuddha Bhakti. So that is the beginning. So at that, so Prabhupada, see, we will be seeing some verses which we discussed last time, like Ajamil was not doing Shuddha Bhakti. He got liberated from all the sins. We saw that last time. But Prabhupada will not focus such examples very much. In the sense, he wants to make people practice, not just say that some examples are there in Shastra and so this can happen. But we know, we as a practitioners, and we are practicing bhakti, so we have to nullify our offenses. So how bhakti is working, Bhakti Devi is working in our life as a Gaudiya Vaishnava. We have to practice to nullify our offenses so that the bhakti effect will be seen more and more in our life. For us, Ajamila example will not work because we have already committed offenses. Ajamila did not commit offense, and so he chanted one name, he got even Namabhas name, purified all sins. But our sins will not be purified until our apradhas are finished. We discussed last time, na? So only one holy name can finish all sins. But why it is not finishing? The reason is this, because aparadh is there. So aparadh, unless it finishes, once it finishes, holy name will show the effect immediately, and the sins are zero. So then, where is the question of nullifying sins by acting? No, nullifying offenses. Yes, we have to also take care that we should not commit sin. That Prabhupada also mentions. So first thing here mentions is Shraddha, Dridha Shraddha, that I will take shelter of Krishna, and Krishna will nullify all my sins. And at the same time, I should not worry about any other duties. Even though I'm doing those duty, just to set example. This is a faith. I'm just doing to set example, not that without doing this my bhakti, how I will do bhakti. If that is a, then his bhakti is avrit. Karma and jnana avrit. Like that. So we have to understand, surely we are coming to that stage. We may not be at that stage. So we should understand here. Srila Rupa Goswami says that distress from sinful activities are due to both the sins themselves and to the sins committed in the past lives. Okay, go ahead.
Srila Rupa Goswami says that the distress from sinful activities are due both to the sins themselves and the sins committed in our past lives. Generally, one commits sinful activities due to ignorance, but ignorance is no excuse to evading the reactions. Sinful.
Okay, 1 minute. So the sins, the distress are because of two things. One is sinful activities, and so sinful activity somebody does, so then that produces distress. And the sins committed in the past also is there. Okay? So like somebody does sins right now, he will suffer, and he has done some sinful activity in past, so that will also make him suffer. So therefore, sins in past and sins in present, Prabhupada is mentioning in general. Okay. Now, so that is why our prarabdha comes here. Okay. So, okay, generally one commits sinful activity due to ignorance. So what is the cause of sinful activity? Ignorance. Okay. Now, you cannot blame the cause, but you have to improve yourself. As it is mentioned, Prabhupada mentions here, ignorance is no excuse for evading the reaction. If somebody says, "Oh, I did not know," many times in local cases, small cases, we are forgiven for such thing because the sin is not very big. But we also know when the sin is big, like somebody just shoots gun on someone and then says, "Oh, I did not know the trigger works like this," and then the gun shoots and somebody can die also. But simply saying such a statement will not save him. He has to bear some reaction. Correct? So when it is very grievous sin, so punishment will be given. Hmm. So now we are seeing. Yes, go ahead now.
Sinful activities are of two kinds, those which are mature and those which are not mature. The sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment are called mature. The many sinful activities stored within us for which we have not yet suffered are considered immature. For example, a man may have committed criminal acts but not yet even been arrested for them. Now, as soon as he is detected, arrest is awaiting him. Similarly, for some of our sinful activities, we are awaiting distress in the future, and for others which are mature, we are suffering at the present moment.
Okay. So this is very simple definition. Prarabdha and aprarabdha. Prarabdha means which is mature, the sinful reaction which has matured, that is prarabdha. And which is about to mature, that may happen after some time or next life, whatever, that is aprarabdha. So that's why Rupa Goswami says that there are two kinds, sinful activities or sinful reaction, whatever you may say. So they are about to mature and they are matured. So mature means prarabdha. So example of finishing of prarabdha papam, that means whose reaction is presently suffering. So we'll see that here Prabhupada mentions here one thing. A man has committed criminal acts. Now he has committed, presently he has committed. Okay, now he has not been arrested. So he has done the activity, and when he will be arrested. So when he has done the activity, his sinful reaction will be aprarabdha in the same life. In the same life, sinful reaction goes into aprarabdha zone, immature. Means it's not mature. And when he will be caught, matlab same sinful reaction will has become now mature. It means prarabdha. It means aprarabdha can become prarabdha in the same life. Correct? That is what example is given. Some are waiting and some are in action. Okay, so some reactions are in waiting and some are in action. They are active. They're active on the person. So this is what happens. It's very simple to understand. Some are waiting to come and some are still acting on us. So very in general terms to understand what is how many kinds of sinful activities can be. Some are we are suffering and some are about to come. Like that. Yes.
Sabra is not able to unmute. In this way, there is a chain of sinful activities and their commitments, and their concomitant distress. And the conditional soul is suffering life, sorry, and the conditioned soul is suffering life after life due to these sins. He is suffering in the present life and result of sinful activities from the past life, and he is meanwhile creating further suffering for his future life. Mature sinful activities are exhibited if one is suffering from some chronic disease. If one is suffering from some legal implication, is one if one is born in a low and degraded family, or if one is uneducated or very ugly, there are many results of past sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment. And
Yeah, yes. So, so there is a chain of sinful activities and their concomitant distresses. So chain of sinful activities. Um, in material world is made in such a way that you cannot avoid committing sin. Small sins, killing small insects and germs and panchasuna. We saw that panchasuna means five kind of sins. So that is daily committed. So and above that, so many mistakes happens in following dharma. So that also becomes sin. So it is made in such a way that always some sinful activity is happening and some distresses are waiting for us. Therefore, Prabhupada says conditioned soul is suffering life after life due to these sins. And he is suffering in present life the result of sinful activity from his past life. So, what are the sufferings which are in Prarabdha, which are mentioned? Like here, by seeing, so somebody is having chronic disease. It means because it is coming because of his past life, some sinful activity. He has got some chronic disease in this life. And then one is suffering from legal implication. Hmm. One is suffering from legal implication. So, some court case. And then one is born in the low and degraded family. See, like these things are not a very simple thing. Like somebody gets some problem, and then it's not very easy to go to court and solve the problem because going to court means involving police and or advocates and so many witnesses. So much money is lost. So it is not a simple judgment actually. It's a very official and very costly. So that becomes quite headache actually on somebody's head. Headache हो जाता है वो, है ना? A small thing to be discussed and then it takes years and lot of people get involved. People come to know what has happened in the family. So all these legal complication, implication or whatever. If one is born in the low or degraded family or uneducated or very ugly, so that is also because of sin. Now, for Vaishnava, we do not see like that. The reason is once one has taken shelter of Guru, one is chanting holy name, so one is dedicated to Krishna. So he is now taken care by Krishna. There is no question of prarabdha. One is suffering from. We saw that. Now Prabhupada is also saying here. So they are the many results of the past sinful activity for which we are suffering at the present moment, and we may be suffering in the future due to the present sinful activity. But all these reactions to the sinful deeds can immediately be stopped if we take to Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada mentions this point again and again. All this will be totally or immediately stopped. Now, somebody may say, somebody asked Prabhupada, how my finger got cut while cutting sabji. Prabhupada says your hand has to be cut, but because Lord minimized the reaction. So now Krishna is, Prabhupada is not saying Maya has given you that reaction. He is saying Krishna has minimized. It means now whatever reaction comes in our life, good or bad, it comes because of Krishna. So that's why even something painful happens, we shout, Krishna, please save me. Why? Why don't Maya, please save me? Or Maya, why are you giving me so much trouble? Why we say Krishna? The reason is this one. Because we should understand that now we are under custody of Krishna. And Krishna has taken the in chargeship of us. He has taken. And he is giving. So that's why Nave Jane Jatu Kathanchana Vraje. Anyone who gives up bhakti also after taking to the process of bhakti, he does not suffer like ordinary person because he has taken some, he has accepted the father, but because of some misunderstanding, again he went away. So now the father will make sure that he will come back. And his sufferings is also guided by father only, not by Maya. So Prabhupada says here, so when we switch off the fan, still fan keeps rotating. It means sometimes suffering may continue for some time, but that also we should understand that the suffering chain has been broken and only something is remaining. Let me tolerate and go ahead. Or if one is not able to feel that, so then one should intensify one's bhakti. And again, if somebody like Krishna does not test us in that way. Like Prahlad Maharaj, he cannot test us in that way because Prahlad Maharaj is already sinless and still is tested in that way. So we should not think that way also. Okay, maybe Krishna is testing my bhakti. That is there, but it cannot be too much high test. So we also surrender to Krishna. Krishna इससे ये बड़ा टेस्ट हम झेल नहीं पाएंगे. Please, I submit to you. Please give me some guidance. Give me some solace like that. So this is very clear. By taking to Krishna consciousness, one's reactions to sinful deeds can be immediately stopped. As evidence for this, Rup Goswami quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, and 19th verse. So what is that? My dear Uddhava, devotional service unto me is just like the blazing fire that can burn into ashes unlimited fuel supplied to it. Okay, so that also we saw. So after discussing, okay, थोड़ा ये थोड़ा दिखा देता हूँ, एक मिनट. But if I show, no, I will show it later. Actually, Prabhupada sometimes brings something before in his summary, because he just discusses little and then he brings here. So as you see here, this sloka is quoted. Yathagni samadha archi karoti edhamsi bhasmasat. So susamidha archi, a nicely blazing fire can finish off all the fuel, consume all the fuel. In the similar way, Prabhupada here says, same thing. My dear Uddhava, devotional service unto me is just like a blazing fire which can burn into ashes, unlimited fuel supplied to it. The purport is that the blazing fire can burn any amount of fuel to ashes, so the devotional service to Lord Krishna, Lord in Krishna consciousness, can burn up all the fuel of sinful activities. Just see. Example is given. What is the example? Arjuna. So Arjuna was fighting war. Fighting is sinful because he is fighting against his family members. Yes, unless Krishna ordered him, it was not very clear that the whole fight was free from sin. If Arjuna could have fought in that transcendental attitude, he could be sinless. But actually, the fight was quite dubious. It's not very easily to conclude because so many family members are there, gurus are there. It's like that. So, because he acted for Krishna, that is what Prabhupada says. For example, in Gita, Arjuna thought that the fighting was a sinful activity, but Krishna engaged him on battlefield under his order, and so the fighting became devotional service. Therefore, Arjuna was not subjected to any sinful reaction. Example of how our sinful act will not make us suffer by doing pure devotional service. So, anybody who is doing any activity that is pure devotional service, and even though that may involve sin also, that will not affect him. That is what mentioned here. So you see, the Rupa Goswami path means he gives this example for prarabdha, aprarabdha, how the previous unmanifested sins are finished in this way. But Prabhupada, he is talking about even if you do presently some activity and that sin may manifest tomorrow. So in that way, he's saying that is aprarabdha. Some activity is done while one is doing devotional service, or he has made that activity devotional service. So then that activity will not produce any sinful reaction. That is what is meaning here. So that Prabhupada gives example here. Yes. Whose reactions may manifest later. And Prabhupada gives example. So Arjuna is not going to suffer for his sins because he is fighting on the order of Krishna. That is the example given. Yes, go ahead from here.
Srila Rupa Goswami quotes another verse from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 33rd chapter, verse 6, in which Devahuti addresses her son Kapildev and says, my dear Lord, there are 9 different kinds of devotional service, beginning from hearing and chanting. Anyone who hears about your pastime, who chants about your glories, who offers you obeisances, and who thinks of you, and in this way execute any of the 9 kinds of devotional service, even if he is born in the family of dog eaters, the lowest grade of mankind, becomes immediately qualified to perform sacrifices. As such, how is it possible that anyone actually engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness has not become purified? It is not possible. One who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service has without doubt become freed from all contaminations of material sinful activities. Devotional service therefore has the power to actually nullify all kinds of reactions of to sinful deeds. A devotee is nevertheless always alert not to commit any sinful activities. This is the specific qualification as a devotee.
Okay. So now this example was given. So previous example was given the fire burning all the fuel, and for that Prabhupada gave example here of Arjuna fighting Kurukshetra war. So that was given for aprarabdha. And now this was given for prarabdha. How somebody is born in a dog eater family and just paid obeisances to the Lord, thought of him, he chanted his glory. And Kwachit means occasionally he has done. He has not done, he has not see. This is what beauty of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is saying, is bringing people to regulated devotional service. As he mentioned, just see, as such, how is it possible for anyone who is engaged in devotional service in full Krishna conscious has not become purified? So Prabhupada is raising question not in that platform if some dog eater has eaten or he's born in dog eater family and done some bhakti, so why he has not got purified? Prabhupada is not going to that. Prabhupada is coming to this path. He has already been in devotional service, trying to practice strongly devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Well, how you are saying he's not purified? So this is how you can see acharyas discussing. So we have saw what Rupa Goswami Pada, and we discussed about this verse for a long time. That how Jiva Goswami Pada says that he has not become qualified for yajna, he needs another initiation. He needs another initiation. So because from Guru, second initiation he need, then only he can worship. Even Brahmana is not qualified by being born, because from sinful activity one only gets disqualification like sinful nature, and he is not purified enough to perform yajna. Okay, his sinful nature is finished and he also got qualified, but unless he gets second initiation, how can he perform? That is the question of Jiva Goswami Pad. So then ultimately then he said, then why he's been respected so much to be qualified as um, performing yajna? So then Siddha Swami says that he has been qualified, is respected like a Brahmana. Like a normal Brahmana is qualified to do yajna, he has also become freed and qualified. At the same time, he's not going to suffer his reactions. Whatever he has performed in this life, he's not going to suffer. Ajamila also, same thing. He was not suffering actually. Even though he was performing sinful, he was not suffering. So here also the case was he will not suffer his prarabdha. So in that way, the prarabdha is finished. That is a Jiva Goswami and Siddha Swami is coming to that conclusion. And we discussed about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He says, where is the question of you are telling he will not be able to qualify, he is not qualified for performing yajna. He is not wanting to perform yajna. He wants to just set example. Just for setting example, he is doing yajna. So that is again different platform. And Prabhupada is talking here that if somebody is practicing bhakti in full Krishna consciousness, how can you say he is not become purified? So, and he's also mentioning this is the translation. Anyone who hears about the Lord pastime, who chants and who offer obeisances, who think of it, in this way executes any of nine, even if born in dog eater family, becomes immediately qualified to perform. So here not many qualifiers are mentioned. Anyone who does such activities of bhakti is qualified to perform sacrifices. But did Prabhupada allow anyone like that in altar? Somebody just chanted holy name, somebody just heard Krishna Katha. No, after initiation only they were allowed in altar to worship the Lord. So we also see the practical process. At the same time, yes, the devotee has to show some sincerity so that he said he can get second initiation and then he can come inside altar. So that is a thing. But one should not see that, oh, this person is suffering, he has some leg problem, hand problem, stomach problem. So he's suffering because of his sin. We should not say like that. Because in devotion service, it's a very, very risky thing. Because once a devotee has surrendered to Guru, he's not his sinful reactions are not given by Maya. He is not suffering because of his karma. He is suffering because of Krishna's intervention in his life. Maybe he has committed some aparad. That can be, but again, we cannot judge that. Or Krishna wants to hide the confidentiality of bhakti. He just wants to make him humble and just keep that going in his life. But a devotee will not be disturbed much. If the devotee gets disturbed too much, then surely it is because he has not surrendered quite aptly. As Krishna mentions, Sar dharman parityajya mamekam shara aham tam sarvapape vimokshasi masucha. I will take away all your sins. So that feeling will come in the devotees. See, when Krishna is saying, I will take away all the sins, and where Prahlad is suffering. So Prahlad is not suffering, we should understand. Because he is having full faith. Kunti is not suffering because he has full faith. So one should understand, because these devotees are highly advanced devotees, even though materially they may appear apparently suffering, they will be feeling like that. But because their consciousness is not in body, not in the world, so that's why they don't actually suffer. Actually, who suffers? One is attached. Hmm. So this way we have to understand. But there is no mention in the Shastra that one should think that he is suffering because of his karma. Devotee, one who is engaged in Krishna consciousness, is not suffering because of karma. That may be another reason. The switch is closed, switched off, fan is switched off, but still fan is rotating. It means some sanskaras are acting in his life, but he's pure. After some time, this will not act also. He will become pure. In this way, we should think. Or somebody is bathing in the bathroom, so he has mud on his body. So then we may say, oh, you see, the mud is on your back or your head, but it's already under shower. So after some time, he will become clean, purified. So then one should not blame in that way. Okay, so now this. So another thing Prabhupada says, what is a necessity or quality of a devotee? His specific qualification is he is very alert not to commit sinful activity. This is also very, very important. Who is a devotee? First karmi, then karma mishra bhakta, then comes a neophyte devotee in Uttama Bhakti, then comes Madhyama Adhikari. At Madhyama Adhikari, one has a Dridha Shraddha and he practices Uttama Bhakti. We are aspirant of Uttama Bhakti, but Madhyama Adhikari is actually practicing. So when somebody is in Suddha Bhakti, so just imagine Karmi and below Karmi is Bikarmi. Karmi follows Varnashrama. Karma Mishra Bhakta, he is more on Bhakti platform and is still following Varnashrama. And neophyte in Uttama Bhakti is also same. He follows Varnashrama but more on Bhakti. And then Madhyama means he is just doing Varnashrama to set example. And his more his main process is Bhakti. So he has gone to such an extent, then how can he commit sin? Because first karmi means already following Varnashrama, then karma mishra bhakta, then neophyte, then comes so long, and if still somebody is committing sin, it may be because of his aparad. It may be because of his aparad. So sinful tendency will be there in the mind. But a devotee, before committing those actions, he immediately becomes aware, alert. Therefore, Prabhupada mentions the word, he is alert, always alert, not to commit. Because alert means what? Even Yamunacharya says at advanced stage, sometimes the thoughts come in my mind because I was a king earlier. Some wrong thoughts may come. But he's alert not to activate or not to act upon that. Alert. So this is a specific qualification of a devotee. Yes, now somebody else can read. 1 minute, I will tell. Prasanna Sita Devdasi Mata, you can read.
Yes, Prabhu. Thus, Srimad Bhagavatam states that by performing devotional service, a person who was born even in a family of dog eaters may become eligible to take part in the performance of the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas. It is implicit in this statement that a person born into a family of dog eaters is generally not fit for performing yajna or sacrifice. The priestly caste in charge of performing these ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Vedas is called the Brahmana order. Unless one is a Brahmana, he cannot perform these ceremonies. A person is born in a Brahmana family or in a family of dog eaters due to his past activities. If a person is born in a family of dog eaters, it means that his past activities were all sinful. But if even such a person takes to the path of devotional service and begins to chant the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, he is at once fit to perform the ritualistic ceremonies. This means that his sinful reactions have immediately become neutralized. It is stated in the Padma Puran that there are
Okay.
4 kinds of.
Okay.
Okay.
So you just see here, Prabhupada first mentions unless one is a Brahmana, he cannot perform yajna. So that is not allowed. It means when statements of Shastra says he can perform yajna, it means he has got the qualification of Brahmana. Now the second thing Prabhupada says, somebody is born in Brahman family or in a family of dog eater due to past sinful activity, past activities. So one had done sin, one had done pious activity. That's why born in a Brahman family. So if one takes to chanting of Hare Krishna, so now again Prabhupada makes it quite practical for us to how to understand. So don't worry about the birth. Worry about what now I can do. Sinful reaction are finished in this life itself. It is not that the later he may not. It is not that later he may not suffer, but now it is he is qualified. Okay, what is spoken here means in previous shloka we saw where Arjuna was committing sin. Objectively, we are seeing. Okay, Arjuna is fighting, but he's not going to suffer his sinful reactions because he is acting on the order of Krishna. So that is later he will not suffer. But now here, if somebody is born in dog eater family, some or some whatever family, so he when he takes to chanting, then what happens? Immediately he gets purified. Not to don't speak about later he will not suffer. Right now only he becomes purified. That is what mentioned. He's at once fit to perform ritualistic means at once he is fit to perform. So what is that here? But if one takes to the path of devotion service and begins to chant, so Prabhupada mentions is at once fit to perform ritualistic ceremony. So this is we have to see in a practical way how to understand how the Goswamis are teaching our NOD. So one who takes to path of bhakti and then takes to chanting of holy name, what happens? He's at once fit to perform ritualistic ceremonies, which are to be performed by Brahmanas only. This means the sinful reactions have immediately become neutralized. ठीक है तो ये हो गया now Prabhupada will explain about another so we have done here yes this is all discussed now we'll come here Durjatir yes what is the question
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी प्रभु जी ये जो सिंफुल टेंडेंसीज के बारे में आप बोल रहे हैं द टेंडेंसीज are because of our past sinful activities so it becomes tendencies so what about Prabhuji this aparadhas why is there any reason of if someone is making some aparadhas what is the reason why they do in such a way that it is like offense against the scriptures or any pure devotees or anything like that any scriptural Prabhuji reference why they make or why we make radhas?
See, there are 4 kind of things. Aparadhas, sukrito, duskrito, bhakti utho. So, and one more comes. So, one by sin also. So, okay, by pious activities, some aparadha is generated. By sinful activities, some is generated. By even bhakti also, if we are doing inattentive bhakti, some aparadha happens. One more is given. Sukrito, duskrito, bhakti utho, and one more. And by committing aparadha itself, directly committing some aparadha. So, what is happening actually? Aparadha means keeping the activity away from Srimati Radharani. Means it is not for the pleasure of Krishna. Because Radharani is there, then Krishna is pleased. But if you are keeping the activity, you are offering to Krishna, but Radharani is not there. Or she is not pleased. So then how can Krishna be pleased? Aparadha. So now here what happens? This is a tendency actually. Our misconception. Our illusion. That's why we commit that. So, like example, Nam Aparad, if you see, first one is to commit offense against a Vaishnava who is preaching the glories of the Lord. So, even though we may know, but sometimes we may do that aparadha. Why? Because at that time we forget to know. We forget to know. And then aparadha happens. Now, why that happens? Because that time consciousness becomes covered over by ignorance. So that's what Prabhupada mentions before. Ignorance is the cause of all sinful activities. So
So
we
Prabhuji,
are
here, sorry to interrupt.
Hmm.
Prabhuji, as you usually we say that aparadhas don't come under the materialistic platform. It is above the but sometimes I feel, or as you are saying, that it is because of the illusion. So isn't it like, Prabhuji, it is because of mode of good, passion and ignorance, someone can behave in such a way, mode of passion, under the mode of passion, someone can behave in such a way that he or she can make offense against someone, some
See,
pure devotee.
first understand aparadha more clearly. Aparadha and sin. Sin is material, aparadha is spiritual. Spiritual means what? When we misunderstand a spiritual object, a spiritual person, and we try to impose our material conditioning on that spiritual object, material conception, and then we behave in that way, that commits aparadha. Like when we are not a devotee or we are outsider, when we talk to some other outsider, even we talk harshly, that is sinful. That is sinful behavior, adharma. When you're talking very harshly, trying to cheat him or trying to have violence against him, that is. But same when we do against devotee, what will it will become? Aparadha. So it means when somebody has taken to devotional process or something is devotional, and we should see in devotional way, because that is in custody of Krishna, in under the dominion of Krishna and his bhakti sakti. And when we are dealing in a negative way with those objects, then that comes to aparadha. So same thing can become aparadha and can be sin also. So we should understand in that way. So that will be natural, because one thing, because bhakti is not of this world and we have material conditioning. So naturally we will commit some aparadhas. वो होगा ही होगा. Because as you mentioned also, illusion, correct, illusion is there. Tattva Vibhrama, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions Asat Trishna, like he mentions Hridaya Daurbalyam, Asat Trishna, and Tattva Vibhrama, Paratattva Vibhrama. So these are the cause of many aparadhas. Asat Trishna. So this we may read in more detail. So these hankering we have, and when we come to devotional service, we hanker for Krishna's properties, Krishna's property to engage in our sense gratification, then that becomes aparadha. Like if I'm chanting, earlier if I was earning money and then trying to enjoy in a whatever way, so that can have some piety and sin. But when I became devotee, and when we are trying to do the same thing, trying to enjoy the money which I have earned, then that becomes offense. Because why? Because as you see, what is the 10th offense in holy name? After hearing so much, we are having material attachments. Yes. So Gurudev is saying, don't try to become too much attached. Don't try to become bodily. Don't have bodily conception. Don't be so much attached. But again, we are attached. So when we were outside of bhakti, those attachments were becoming cause for our sinful reactions or sinful activities, and then reaction. But now they are, because our life had no, we don't have two parts in life, devotional life and then personal life. No, our personal, professional, everything becomes devotional. And so when we do not improve our conception of living, conception of seeing the things, our consciousness, if we are not improving that, how we are living, how we are doing the things, so then that brings some seeds of offenses. And that's why Acharya mentions, because of doing some piety in previous life, like somebody is rich person. So a rich person, he also gets some tendency to commit offenses because he's proud. Like Brahmana becomes proud of knowledge. A pious person can also become proud of his own qualities. See, I am a rich person, I am a intelligent person, I'm a strong person. So then that can bring some offensive attitude in him. And somebody commits some sinful activities in previous life, so that sin, because he has sinful nature, he will see other people like that. I know that why this Vaishnava is earning so much money. I know that because he want to keep in his pocket. So because we have sinful nature from previous life, so we will always see very selfish way. So these things, actually we have to identify these things by becoming more and more Krishna conscious. So that is what when we become more and more Krishna conscious by chanting, by hearing, these offenses we can nullify. And it's happening. It's happening now in our Krishna conscious life. Sins may not be happening, but offenses are happening. Like somebody is not happy seeing a Vaishnava, that also becomes offense. Somebody makes talks about something. So there are, earlier we were, when somebody is not a devotee, he worries more about sin. What sin I am doing? Oh, I have to be doing some prashchit. But now, why after becoming Vaishnava, we worry more about offenses. Because our life is already protected. We are following 4x and we are not doing very gross sins. But other sins we don't worry only. We don't worry. We only worry about we should not commit offense against Guru, Vaishnava, or Shastra, holy name. We should not misunderstand the glory of the holy name or devotional service. So these are more important. That's the Prabhupada mentioning. Once somebody is taken to chanting, then how can you say that he has some sins? He is quite qualified to become a Brahmana. So now still somebody can commit sin because of some offenses. If some advanced devotees, there are some things like Bharat Maharaj case. Bharat Maharaj fell down from very high stage. Fell down means he forgot for a small time about his bhakti and just remembered the deer. And next life he again was given the consciousness what he was having in previous life. So such advanced Vaishnava fell down. So that was the Krishna's plan to show the importance of association of Vaishnava, one thing. Second thing, howsoever high we may go, there is always chance of getting down. To show this thing. Okay. So what we understand from this? So such a Vaishnava, how can he do such things? Now Krishna has implanted something because he has dedicated his life to Krishna. Now Krishna wants to make him a toy or medium to show to the world some principles. Then Krishna will make him fall down. And again Krishna will pick him up after some time. So we should not see that, because even Sukadeva Goswami says, Parishit Maharaj asked, how can Bharat Maharaj fall down? So Sukadeva Goswami says that how it can be, because he was a king earlier, he must have done some fruitive activities. But immediately the Prabhupada mentions in the shloka, it is not possible because Bharat Maharaj is a bhava stage. There is no sins at bhava stage. Already finished. There is no question of fruitive activities. इमिडिएटली वहां पे जंप करते प्रभुपाद, वो लिखते हैं कि शुद्ध भक्त है, उसमें कोई प्रारब्ध का बात ही नहीं हो सकता है, या जो भी कार्य किया वो एक्ट नहीं कर सकता, ही इज अ शुद्ध भक्त. So here he mentions that how can sinful activity act upon him? So it was ultimately decided that it was implanted by the Lord. The desire was implanted in the Bharat Maharaj, that he got attracted to deer and then he given away the bhakti. That was because of the Lord's intervention. Lord wanted him to do those activities. In the similar way, Parikshit also put a snake around the Samik Rishi, was also orchestrated by the Lord only. So these are not their offenses, but Lord in their life showed something. So when advanced devotees, when they fall down sometimes, then many times Krishna wants to intensify their bhakti, and that's why Krishna implants something in their life when advanced bhakta goes down. So we cannot tell that they have fallen because of offense also. समझ में आ रहा है ना? शुद्ध जो एडवांस भक्त के इस केस में हम ये भी नहीं बोल सकते कि वो ऑफेंस से फॉल हो गए. उनको क्या बोलना है कि भगवान की इच्छा हुई, हमें पता नहीं. ये तो कभी नहीं बोल सकते कि वो अपने पापों से गिरा है, कभी नहीं, बिकॉज वो तो अपराध हो जाएगा, हमारा पतन हो जाएगा. तो एडवांस भक्त क्यों गिर गए? वो भगवान की इच्छा. मीडियम वाला भक्त क्यों गिर गया, बोल सकते हैं कि मे बी he has committed some offense. बट इवन आफ्टर कमिटिंग ऑफेंस गिर गया, मतलब फिर अगेन वो पिकअप कर लिया भक्ति, कुछ ज्यादा कुछ हुआ नहीं, इसका मतलब फिर आ गया 9.31 श्लोक, अपि चेतसो दुराचारो भजते माम. अगेन यू कैनॉट डाउट, यू कैनॉट डाउट बिकॉज अनन्य अनन्य भक्ति दोबारा चालू हो गया, कुछ ज्यादा कुछ हुआ नहीं उसको. सो अगेन वी कैनॉट से देयर मच. सम संस्कार माइट हैव कम एंड ही माइट हैव एक्टेड, अगेन ही केम बैक. तो कृष्णा सेज इफ यू डोंट कंसिडर हिम साधु, ऑफेंस, वो ऑफेंस हो जाएगा. तो अभी कोई बोलेगा प्रभु जी ऐसे तो संसार में सब लोग कुछ भी करेंगे तो भक्तों को तो मतलब क्या है, शुद्ध भक्ति कर रहे हैं, कोई किसी को टोकेगा ही नहीं. नहीं, इसका ये मतलब नहीं है. सम पनिशमेंट हैज टू बी गिवन, but with that understanding that the devotee is still pure, but he has acted wrongly, to set an example for outside world, for neophytes who may tomorrow think that if I chant holy name, no punishment will come, then better I will do all sins and I will chant. So to set a good example in the society, even a practicing devotee, a nice devotee, he also accepts punishment. Okay, ठीक है, because I have to submit to my authority, I have to take punishment, so that the others should learn. Others would also learn that if I do mistake, I will have to suffer punishment. So just understand. So the punishment giver should have this understanding, because he is doing bhakti, he is not impure. But because he has done some mistake, now he should accept some punishment. And the punishment taker should understand, I don't need to take any prayashchitam, but still I will do it because this activity has been done and to set an example. But this kind of thinking किसको होगा? अब मान लो कोई पहले से ही उतना शुद्ध नहीं है, तो वो उसको तो लेना ही चाहिए पनिशमेंट. वो बोलेगा कि ठीक है, क्या करें, लेना ही पड़ेगा पनिशमेंट, तो वो उतना हाई कॉन्शियसनेस में नहीं होगा. बट एक उत्तम भक्त, एक शुद्ध भक्त, या जो भी शुद्ध भक्ति प्रैक्टिस करना, उसको ये सोचना चाहिए, आई हैव टू एक्सेप्ट पनिशमेंट टू सेट एन एग्जाम्पल, बिकॉज if I don't, then the people will take it liberty to commit sin and then just not get caught and nothing will happen. So this is that's what Prabhupada mentions, very alert, specific quality of a devotee. ठीक है ना. तो ऑफेंस क्यों हो गया? सेम टेंडेंसी व्हेन वी अप्लाई इन डिवोशनल सर्विस दैट क्रिएट्स ऑफेंस, सेम टेंडेंसी वी अप्लाई इन आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड दैट में बिकम सिन, अधर्मा. And that's why we have to become extra aware of the importance and tattva of bhakti. Importance as well as tattva of bhakti. Extra, you have to be aware. Like some earlier, like we have heard, if some guest come in the house, if somebody just opens the eyes like that, मतलब थोड़ा गुस्से में, अरे क्या है, कल भी गेस्ट, परसों भी गेस्ट, आज भी गेस्ट आ गए, तो थोड़ा गुस्से में मान लो देख लिया. So according to Shastra, that the person may go to the Rorva lok, where the Rorva body is there, will snatch away the eyes of that person. Now that is a sin actually, but when it is done with the Vaishnava, that become offense. So we have to be careful. And one very good thing is in Vaishnava society, if you ask forgiveness, if you are humble, then sins generally don't go away by humility. Since one has to suffer, but offenses, they may go away by one surrender and by taking shelter of holy name. It may go away. But generally sins, actually in outside world, one has to do prayashchit only. One has to do a lot of prayashchit, then only that. You cannot be humble and say that please forgive me. No. But in offense also, it can be finished off by correcting our attitude, by submitting to a person whom have committed offense, and by taking shelter of holy name. So both way, it is easy to commit offense, but it is also easy to get away from it. Easy means one can become humble. That's why Trinada Pishune Chena, Tarura Pishune. So like that. Okay. Okay, go ahead, reading. It is stated in Padma Purana.
It is stated in the Padma Puran that there are 4 kinds of effects due to sinful activities, which are listed as follows. Number 1, the effect which is not yet fructified. Number 2, the effect which is lying as seed. Number 3, the effect which is already mature. And 4, the effect which is almost mature. It is also stated that all these 4 effects become immediately vanquished for those who surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, and become engaged in his devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. Those effects described as almost mature refer to the distress from which one is suffering at present, and the effects lying as seed are in the core of the heart, where there is a certain stock of sinful desires which are like seeds. The Sanskrit word putam means that they are almost ready to produce the seed or the effect of the seed. An immature effect refers to the case where the seedling has not yet begun. From this statement of Padma Puran, it is understood that material contamination is very subtle. Its beginning, its fruition and results, and how one suffers such results in the form of distress are part of a great chain. When one catches some disease, it is often very difficult to ascertain the cause of the disease, where it originated, and how it is maturing. The suffering of a disease, however, does not appear all of a sudden. It actually takes time. And, as in the medical field, for precaution's sake, the doctor injects a vaccination to prevent the growing of contamination. The practical injection to stop all the fructifications of the seeds of our sinful activities is simply engagement in Krishna consciousness.
Okay. So now you see here, we saw that Rupa Goswami Pad says that kleshas are three. How the klesha agni. So klesh comes because of avidya, pap and bijam. And in Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani it is mentioned, avidya causes two things. So we know that avidya causes sinful activities. Okay, the ignorance is the cause of our sinful activity. Now one more thing we should add, avidya is also, so when kleshas are of three kinds, avidya, pap and bij. Avidya, pap, sinful activity, and bij means material desire. Okay, materialistic desire. So avidya produces sinful activities and also material desires. Okay. So and that three things lead to klesha. These are the klesha producing. If avidya is there, it will further give birth to papa and bijam, and they will give birth to prarabdha, as you see here. Ultimately prarabdha में बदल जाएगा. Prarabdha मतलब mature suffering. The suffering becomes mature. So the kleshas are three. Now the papa. So one papa, if somebody commits papa of stealing something. So stealing something, so he will not be caught immediately. It means that stealing reactions has gone to aprarabdha. Then that aprarabdha again has two outcome. What is the first outcome? Or whatever. Well, the one outcome is he can be caught and punished. Or the other outcome can be he may not be caught. And then that will turn into kutam, then bijam. Kutam means proclivity of stealing, and then sinful desire of stealing. Then he will now he has committed stealing, so he will now have more desire to steal. Now अभी एक खीरा चोर को पकड़ा था उसने, means or you can say he was like a खीरा चोर. First he was a खीरा चोर, now he will become हीरा चोर. He will become diamond stealer. So first he was doing small sins, and that small sins are becoming putam, and then gradually bijam. So it is becoming strengthened more and more greater desire to commit higher theft, और बड़ा काम करना है, और बड़ा चुराना है, because he is not getting caught. Police is not able to catch him. So therefore aprarabdha is turning into kutam bijam. And he will commit then papam. So now this bijam, okay, again, actually this bijam should come here, papam. Or because he commits papa, and then again it comes to prarabdha. So prarabdha, actually it should come here, papa. So after bijam sinful desire comes, then he again commits papa. And then pap goes to prarabdha. Means he suffers. So thus, you may see here, after committing papa, either he directly suffers or it all goes into this psychic tendency to develop more pap. So there are two reactions coming by doing sins. One is immediate suffering, other is later suffering, aprarabdha. And aprarabdha also turns into, it may turn in two ways. Aprarabdha means immediately giving suffering, or because he's committing, like simple example, like somebody is not doing his homework, small children. So what will happen? They have committed in kind of sin, just say that. And then teacher did not come that day. Teacher did not come that day and he was saved. Okay, so that went into Aprarabdha. And teacher came next day and still he did not complete his homework. Then immediately he will be punished. So Aprarabdha immediately goes to Prarabdha. Done? Now, if he continues to do the same activity again and again, so then what happens? This Prarabdha will also go to the Kutam. Means the tendency will also develop in him. So you are understanding, na? So sometime directly reaction is getting, but sometime now tendencies will also grow because he will see the loophole and he will be liking that activity. Okay, whatever, even teacher is punishing also. That punishment is not very big, but the enjoyment of not doing homework is very big. I should not become responsible. I can play a lot whole day and just little punishment, no problem. So this thought process is coming because of the punishment is delayed or prarabdha, and then it is becoming kutam, bijam, and then he will commit again sin. So then that will continue. So this is a problem actually. So this is such a complex thing. Now even this bijam also. So the bijam, ultimately the desire leads to commitment of papa, and then again prarabdha happens. He suffers. So it's like that. So Prabhupada, what he says here, the effect which has not fructified, that is aprarabdha. It is about to fructify. And the effect which is lying as seed means bijam, and the effect which is already mature means prarabdha, kutam. What is this? Prarabdha. And almost mature. Almost mature means prarabdha. So Prabhupada says that which is almost mature as from which one is suffering at present. So almost mature means prarabdha. Actually, little bit the difference यहाँ पे थोड़ा है. Kutam comes before bijam actually. So seed is bijam, and kutam is proclivity, and seed means desire, sinful desires or material desire, whatever, sinful desire. So first comes kutam, then comes bijam. So like that. So kutam means that almost ready to produce the seed, or that effect of the seed. An immature effect refers to the case where seedling has not begun. From this statement of Padma Puran, it is understood that the material contamination is very subtle and it's beginning its fruition and result. And how one suffers such result in the form of distress are the part of the great chain. So this is a great chain. One keeps developing the subtle attitude to commit sin, and also he suffers, and then he commits another sin. So some sins goes for immediate suffer. So see, you can see this thing also. Even if somebody is committing sin and something is going in aprarabdha, it means something you will suffer now, something you may suffer later also. Understanding? And something is going to commit sin again. So one thing, when commit some sin, he will immediately something he will suffer some mental problem, some mental distress, and then later some physical problem will also come. Correct? Like where there's the story, one Mundak Muni, you remember, na? When Mundak Muni, he was some thieves. They stole some king property and they ran away. All the Sena armies of the king followed the thieves, and then they saw the thieves entering into the hermitage of Mundak Muni. So then they entered and they caught the sage only. The sage was the culprit, and then they took to the king, and king gave punishment that so earlier the punishment was you pierce the rod with a pointed head from below till up. So that was the punishment, and this was very fearsome punishment for a sage. He has not done a single mistake and still such punishment. So then, but later when he was about to be killed like that, immediately the king came and said, "Oh, please forgive me. This was not meant for you. We understood you are not the real person. You are not a thief." So then the Mundak Muni went to Yamaraj directly and he chastised him. He said, "How can you give me such punishment? I have not committed a single sinful activity in this way." Then Yamaraj said, "In your childhood, you took a insect and pierced through back. So that's why you got a reaction. So Mundak Muni said, "Arey, what is this? In childhood, I did not know. I was ignorant, and I did some small something which I did not know, and you are giving me punishment at my age when I'm conscious. Huh? So this is a totally injustice. So I curse you that you become Sudra, and that's why I become a Vidura. The Yamaraj became Vidura. So what is that? Something when we like even some this Mundak Muni got a tension. Means he heard that now he'll be killed in that way. So he was very perturbed. Arey Baba, मेरे को ऐसे मारा जाएगा. So even that agony in the mind is also because of we are suffering that agony. That is again sinful reaction. So that papa, when somebody has done some pap, he suffers in mind also. So that is also prarabdha, we can say. Okay? And aprarabdha means the more he may suffer later. He may suffer more later. So like a thief, when he commits something, he also suffers in mind. He may not be peaceful when he goes to home. He will just remember all such things in the night while sleeping. अरे how I did thievery, उसने मेरे को पकड़ा, मैं वहां से भागा. तो वो उसको सोने नहीं देगा. वो भी sinful reaction है उसका. And then because he continues to do sin, later he will be caught by police. A prarabdha goes to prarabdha. And he will also have further tendencies. So see, this is a very complex chain. It never ends. Because person who is not Krishna conscious is always committing sin. So where is the question of getting relief from sins? Okay. So then Prabhupada gives example. Suffering of a disease, however, it does not appear all of a sudden. It actually takes time. As a medical practitioner, for precaution's sake, doctor injects vaccination to prevent growing of contamination. The practical injunction to stop the fructification of the seed of our sinful is simply engagement in Krishna consciousness. So if one engages, so like somebody, like a doctor gives injection, vaccination to prevent further suffering or further infection. Vaccination is for further infection, suffering. And medicine is for further suffering. He should not suffer further. So in the similar way, Krishna consciousness will also clean our previous karma, which is going to fructify and make us suffer. At the same time, it will also decrease our suffering right now. Prarabdha also, as well as aprarabdha, both it will finish. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning. So therefore, Krishna consciousness is a medicine and vaccination, both. Okay. Yes, now I will tell somebody else. Yes, Aman Prabhu, you can read.
Yes, Shwaji. In this connection, Shukdev Goswami speaks in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd chapter, verse 17, about the story of Ajamil, who began life as a fine and dutiful Brahman, but in his young manhood became wholly corrupted by a prostitute. At the end of his wicked life, just by calling the name Narayan, Krishna, he was saved despite so much sin. Shukdev points out that austerity, charity, and the performance of ritualistic ceremonies for counteracting sinful activities are recommended processes, but that by performing them, one cannot remove the sinful desire seed from the heart, as was the case with Ajamil in his youth. This sinful desire seed can be removed only by achieving Krishna consciousness, and this can be accomplished very easily by chanting the Mahamantra or the Hare Krishna mantra as recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In other words, unless one adopts the path of devotional service, he cannot 100% clean from all the reactions of sinful activities.
So, did Ajamila took to devotional service before getting free from all sinful reaction? What is the answer? Anyone? Did Ajamila take to full devotional service before? Huh?
No.
No. Yes. Then why Prabhupada is saying here? Prabhupada is saying because this Ajamila example is not going to work for us because we have committed offenses. So therefore, while we have committed offenses, we have a lot of baggage in our things. So we may be asking, Arey, Ajamila was a special case, why not me? So Prabhupada is giving us practical. Unless one takes to the path of devotion, he cannot nullify the offenses fully, and so the potency of holy name will not be visible immediately. So therefore, one has to take to the path of devotional service intensely, tivrata, with tivra bhakti, one should do. And then he cannot be 100% clean unless he adopts the path of devotional service. So Prabhupada makes it how to apply that or how to access the power of holy name, how to not chant with offenses. So when we have become devotees, so we have to chant without offenses. So for us, we are practicing to chant without offenses. And even one offenseless holy name, one also, it will clear all the sins. But whether it will show the effect or not, that is dependent on Bhakti Maharani. Bhakti Maharani will show the effect immediately or may not. He may hide. And the devotee may still commit some here and there problem. You can say like sinful activity. Here, he may commit. But so therefore, it's a very transcendental process. One cannot immediately come to know what is happening. It's all managed by Krishna and his Bhakti Sakti. So we
My-
can know to some extent. Yes, Prabhu.
Should I read
Okay.
it? Prabhuji? Yes, Prabhuji. By performing Vedic ritualistic activities, by giving money in charity, and by undergoing austerity, one can temporarily become free from the reactions of sinful activities, but at the next moment he must again become engaged in sinful activities. For example, a person suffering from venereal disease on account of excessive indulgence in sex life has to undergo some severe pain in the medical treatment, and he is then cured for the time being. But because he has not been able to remove the sex desire from his heart, he must again indulge in the same thing and become a victim of the same disease. So, medical treatment may give temporary relief from the distress of such venereal disease, but unless one is trained to understand that sex life is abominable, it is impossible to be saved from such repeated distress. Similarly, the ritualistic performances, charity, and austerity, which are recommended in the Vedas, may temporarily stop one from acting in sinful ways. But as long as the heart is not clear, one will have to repeat sinful activities again and again.
This is very, very important. Like in Shastra, there are many methods mentioned to overcome sinful thoughts or sinful situations. Like one boy was sharing, so sometime he becomes totally blank in his life, and he feels like he should become very much angry. Means he becomes very angered and wants to do something destructive, helplessly. And then he said that I chant some mantra of the Lord Shiva, Hanuman Chalisa. So why they are not able to help me? So this is the answer. What is the answer? Even if you do some austerity, charity also, because you are not coming to the knowledge, this, unless one is trained that sex life is abominable, means the knowledge should dawn in him. And that knowledge, and at the same time, that sinful desire which is pushing him, that has to be little cooled down. That push has to be stopped. So both things should happen. The sinful desire should go away, and the knowledge should awaken that it is sinful. Then that person can avoid. So by chanting some Hanuman Chalisa, some Lord Shiva mantra, what happens? This knowledge is not done. It's a simply ritualistic thing. So what may go away? Some sinful reaction may go away, but the sinful desires are still there. So that person is not able to identify whether to think like I'm getting angry, whether I should hit him or not hit him. That desire is not able to identify. He just is thinking anger should not come. If anger comes, then I will be uncontrolled. So he cannot act after anger comes. In a positive way, he cannot act. After anger comes, he becomes helpless. That is materialistic problem. In materialistic world, people after some sinful desire comes, they cannot control. They have to act. And for devotees, what happens? Even the sinful desire comes, they first understand this is problem. This is not going to please Krishna, and this is going to commit sinful activity, which will take me to the wrong direction away from Krishna consciousness. So he clearly understands. And even though he may commit also, let us imagine he may commit also, as Krishna mentions, but he still again comes back to the process. He again start taking shelter of holy name. So the holy name also gives him the knowledge. Holy name gives him the power to resist those temptations and go away from that temptation, and also gives the knowledge and keeps and again maintain him even after committing some also. Again, after some repentance, he again maintains his sobriety, again maintains his status, and goes ahead in bhakti. But in outside world, what happens? That sin will degrade him, make him feel very remorse, and he will not be able to lift himself up because he has no prayashchit, no process only to lift up. And then he commits sin, then he commits further sins, and he goes down, 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 down. This is the problem. So that's why Prabhupada is saying any process, charity, austerity, they may temporarily stop one acting from sinful ways. But as long as heart is not clear, one will have to repeat the sinful activities again and again. So how heart will be clear? That in that heart, Krishna has to be there. Surrender to Krishna. Sarvadharman Parityajya. That's Krishna. I will take shelter. Like we see the example of Bilomangal Thakur. Bilomangal Thakur was very much attached to the prostitute. After prostitute said one sentence, if you could have just worked this much for Krishna, we could have got Krishna beforehand only. You are working for me, you are just after me for so long time. Just for this dead body, you are so much attracted. So when he heard this, he got eureka. Total means all ignorance was blasted. He immediately left everything and went. And still again he got attacked by lust. Then that time he was so strong, he plucked out his eyes only. He said, this eyes are a problem, I will remove the eyes only. So much strong determination. And then after that, no such thing, no incident. He was just remembering Krishna, singing about Krishna, and he was writing about Krishna. So there are good examples in the life of great peoples who have taken to path of devotional service. Even Ajamila case also. He was already relieved from all sins, past, present, future, by the first name, Namakaran Sanskar, that time only. And later, other names, the other Narayan names which were chanting, it was nourishing his devotion. And after Yamdutas were sent away, he practiced for 12 years devotional service. He was already freed just to cultivate further rasa. He wanted to have a better situation in Vaikuntha with seva for the Lord. That's why he cultivated devotional service later. So what we understand, that devotional service is always a savior for a person. Even if some falls also in devotional service, it picks up the person and again removes all his sinful desires. So devotional service is foolproof. And one who is doing devotional service, one should see with this devotional signs that devotee is never fallen. Name bhaktya pranashyati. He will again come back. Yes, go ahead.
Another example given in Srimad Bhagavatam concerns the elephant who enters into a lake and takes bath very seriously, cleansing his body thoroughly. Then, as soon as he comes onto shore, he again takes some dust from the earth and throws it over his body. Similarly, a person who is not trained in Krishna consciousness cannot become completely free from the desire for sinful activities. Neither the yoga process, nor philosophical speculations, nor fruitive activities can save one from the seeds of sinful desires. Only by being engaged in devotional service can this be done. There is another evidence in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 22nd chapter, verse 39, wherein Sanat Kumar says, "My dear king, the false ego of a human being is so strong that it keeps him in material existence as if tied up by a strong rope. Only the devotees can cut off the knot of this strong rope very easily by engaging themselves in Krishna consciousness. Others who are not in Krishna consciousness but are trying to become great mystics or great ritual performers cannot advance like the devotees. Therefore, it is the duty of everyone to engage himself in the activities of Krishna consciousness in order to be freed from the tight knot of false ego and engagement in the material activities."
So now another discussion is going on. So first, again, Prabhupada spoke here that anyone taking to other paths, yoga process, philosophical speculation, fruitive activities, they cannot save one from seeds of sinful desire. It means after some sinful reactions can be nullified, but seeds to commit further sins will not be nullified. He will commit further. It means the seeds goes very much inside the heart of the yogi, karmi, jnani, that their process is insufficient or not having capacity or not is qualified or whatever. Take out that seed, but only bhakti can enter inside his heart. So now for that, Prabhupada quotes a sloka also. This is again given by Rupa Goswami Pad, that yat pad pankaj palasya vilasha bhaktya. So actually, this ignorance, as we mentioned, the tight knot is of the false ego due to ignorance. So ignorance is cause of sin. So ignorance is causing false ego in him first. I'm this body, I have this identity, I want this, I want that. So then false ego identifying with the body, mind, senses, and whatever senses will ask, the soul is thinking, I am asking. Whatever mind will ask, the soul is thinking, I am asking. Whatever intelligence will ask, the soul is thinking, I am asking. So this false ego makes the soul identify with intelligence, mind, senses, sense object. And that's why he commits of sinful activities, because he's misidentifying himself. First thing, he's not identifying with himself, his own Satchit Ananda Rupa as a Das of Krishna. So devotional service directly attacks on false ego only. That you culprit, you are actually, it goes more behind, it attacks on ignorance. But again, for here we are understanding how it is effective. So effective is because false ego is very much acting in the world, backed by ignorance. So that false ego is nullified or it is subdued by devotional service. So devotees, they always understand aham dasa, मैं दास हूं. मतलब भक्ति में शुरू में आते ही आते हम क्या सीखते हैं, हम कौन है, दास. Like when you go to some company, when somebody wants to know which company, so you want to tell your salary, कितना salary है, 40 lakh per annum. So we always quote some higher amount, okay? And what is your post? I'm a manager, or I'm a team lead, or project lead, whatever we quote. So we always quote some higher thing in material life to show our greatness. But in devotional service, when we come, immediately our behavior, everyone actually subtly understand. If I show too much to people, then it will not be good. It will be considered I'm fallen person. In devotional service, if you show much, what people will understand, अरे इसको कुछ आता जाता नहीं है, ऐसे ही है. But in outside world, what will people understand? Oh, he's a very great man. This is a difference actually. So false ego is attacked in devotional service. That you are nothing, you are in. So even we are nothing, still somebody is happy. That is devotional service. One is nothing, still is happy. It means the devotional service is not of this world. How can somebody is nothing and still happy? And in the world, every person, people are finding so many things to become happy. So it is totally against. So false ego is totally attacked. When false ego is attacked, then one understand I don't need sensual happiness, or I don't need mental happiness, I don't need intellectual happiness. I only need Krishna conscious happiness. And therefore, he becomes devotee, dasa, eternal servant. So that is why the jnanis and yogis who have lot of faith in their process, that I will control my mind, I will control my senses, I will do this, I will do that by my own power. So their ego increases, ego. And devotees, he thinks I'm not doer only. He thinks even though I may chant for millions of years also, I'm not qualified to get Krishna Bhakti. One understand in devotional service. And he becomes humble. Like Rukmani is saying, when Rukmani wrote a love letter to Krishna, and when Krishna, this Brahmana was not coming, he was delaying, then Rukmani was saying prayers, ki, my Lord, even if I have to take many births to atone my sins, my offenses, so that you can marry me, I am still ready to do that. I'm ready to do. So to attain your lotus feet is a highest cherished desire for every woman. And if I'm not able to get, what is the use of my life? All such prayers is rendering. So just imagine. So she is not telling, what is this? I am also Vidarbha queen. And what is your Gwala? I'm somehow trying to marry with you, giving you some higher respect. You will become my husband. So you will get more respect. No such feeling. No such feeling. Even Lakshmi is thinking like that. Ki Krishna is so great. Lakshmi is thinking so like that. Our Rukmani is Lakshmi. She is thinking that Krishna is so great and I'm like a maid servant. So the thing is that this is the way how Krishna becomes attracted to devotional service, because there is no personal greatness. Only a devotee becomes humble by seeing the greatness of Krishna and insignificant nature of a living entity. Mm. So that makes him more humble, and that makes Krishna very happy. Yes, go ahead.
This tight knot of false ego is due to ignorance. As long as one is ignorant about his identity, he is sure to act wrongly and therefore thereby become entangled in material contamination. This ignorance of actual knowledge can also be dissipated by Krishna consciousness, as it is confirmed in the Padma Puran as follows. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the highest enlightenment, and when such enlightenment is there, it is just like a blazing forest fire, killing all the inauspicious snakes of desire. The example is being given in this connection that when there is a forest fire, the extensive blazing automatically kills all the snakes in the forest. There are many snakes on the ground of the forest, and when a fire takes place, it burns the dried foliage, and the snakes are immediately attacked. Animals who have 4 legs can flee from the fire or can at least try to flee, but the snakes are immediately killed. Similarly, the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness is so strong that the snakes of ignorance are immediately killed.
Now, this was the example given for false ego, okay? And now this is the example given for ignorance. How the ignorance are killed. So ignorance are considered like a snakes. So when the fire takes place in the forest, animals 4 legs, they may run away. Okay, they may try to flee, but the snakes cannot. They are killed because we know that fire, if it reaches the down, so it catches all the leaves and everything which are fallen, and then the snakes, they have no legs to run away, so they have to crawl and go. So some place is very hot, so they cannot crawl. They have to touch the ground. They have to touch the leaves. So that's why the snakes are burnt in the forest fire. But the animals can flee away. So this is example given for a snake of inauspicious desires or the ignorance. So ignorance is killed by Krishna consciousness, false ego is killed, and previously we saw prarabdha, aprarabdha also. So in this way, by so many examples from Shastra, it is said, one who is take the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness so strong that the snakes of ignorance are immediately killed. So the blazing fire of Krishna consciousness so strong that all such sinful reactions can be nullified. So one should not go to any other process thinking that, okay, it is not working. No, one should just continue the same with the more faith. One should hear from devotees that how Krishna consciousness is so strong. By hearing only, that is a devotional service. Nothing extra. Like to extinguish fire, one has to go and bring water to put on the fire. But just to hear about devotional service, to have more faith, is itself killing the disease. Just to hear. Like devotional service, we may sometimes doubt about devotional service not acting. So just you go and hear about devotional service, it will start working. Even though you have not actually applied devotional service on the wound or problem, but it's still because you are doing devotional service that will be purified. That's why it happens. Like one person came to Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj, he had a lot of questions. And then he said that you go and wash some vessels in DT room. And after washing vessels, he forgot. And then Gurudev asked, yes, you had some question. He said, all questions are answered. How? He did not apply the devotional service knowingly to these questions. But how they were answered? Because the questions are also solved. The ignorance itself goes away by doing devotional service. So devotional service is not simply like hearing. Yes, primarily it is hearing and chanting, but even somebody does some service also, that also removes somebody's doubt. Therefore, Prabhupada says, human reason failed to understand how by serving our devotee Bhagavat, one attains the same result of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So by serving Suddha Bhakta Mahabhagavat, by following their process given 64 limbs of bhakti, have the same effect. One may read Srimad Bhagavatam and get the same effect, or one may serve the devotee and get the same effect. Human reason failed to understand. So it's a purification, and it can happen in this way. Yes. Go ahead.
Krishna consciousness is all auspicious. So, Srila Rupa Goswami has given a definition of auspiciousness. He says that actual auspiciousness means welfare activities for all the people of the world. At the present moment, groups of people are engaged in welfare activities in terms of society, community, or nation. There is even an attempt in the form of the United Nations for the World Help Activity. But due to the shortcomings of limited national activities, such a general mass welfare program for the whole world is not practically possible. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, is so nice that it can render the highest benefit to the entire human race. Everyone can be attracted by this movement, and everyone can feel the result. Therefore, Rupa Goswami and other learned scholars agree that a broad propaganda program for the Krishna consciousness movement of devotional service all over the world is the highest humanitarian welfare activity. How the Krishna conscious movement can attract the attention of the whole world and how each and every man can feel pleasure in this Krishna consciousness is stated in the Padma Puran as follows. A person who is engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is to be understood to be doing the best service to the whole
It's
world
1 o'clock.
and to be pleasing everyone in the world. A person who is engaged in the devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is to be understood to be doing the best service to the whole world and to be pleasing everyone in the world. In addition to human society, he is pleasing even the trees and the animals because they also become attracted by such a movement. A practical example of this was shown by Lord Chaitanya when he was travelling through the forest of Jharikanda in central India for spreading his Sankirtan movement. The tigers, the elephants, the deer, and all the other wild animals joined him and were participating in this in their own ways by dancing and chanting Hare Krishna.
Okay. So now this two things, sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means all of us can do, we cannot do bhav bhakti right now. We cannot do prem bhakti. We can do sadhana bhakti. For sadhaka, sadhana bhakti. Now, Krishna consciousness is a welfare activity for the whole world. Whole nation, whole world can practice. Okay, now, the two things are focused here. Sinful reactions and spreading auspiciousness. Auspiciousness means welfare activity, like simply earning money and trying to open some business, investing it somewhere so that it will increase more. This is not auspicious activity. What is auspicious? Yagya, dana, tapa. We know that auspicious means when you do some activities for others' sake. Yes, that is pious activity. That is auspicious, means you are not selfishly bound. You have to do something for others. Help others. So one thing is to get rid of one's sin, other thing is to do piety. Otherwise, we will be bound, like Krishna mentions in 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In 12.12, he mentions that if you cannot give money to Krishna, at least give to hospitals, schools. Why? That is to create some auspiciousness. Do some auspicious activities also, not that, or call some brahmanas, feed them, give donations to temple, give food to cow, and then give charity of Bhagavad Gita or some food to others. So this is auspiciousness, welfare activity. Getting rid of sin, doing auspicious activity. These two things are very important. This everyone is concerned about in the world. I should not suffer because of my activity, that is my sinful reaction, and I should do something good. If these two things are taken care, and then a person does his activities honestly, then he's rightly situated actually in karma yoga. Okay, he's not selfishly bound to just work for himself, and he's not committing some sinful activity. So this is important. So now Krishna consciousness fulfills these two very important needs. First is about sin, other is about welfare activities, auspicious welfare activity. So both are done through Krishna consciousness movement, and that is a characteristics of Suddha Bhakti. And even somebody may not be able to do Suddha Bhakti, just aspire to do Suddha Bhakti, he will also achieve that thing. That is why Prabhupada was very confident. Somebody said, how can you remove corruption or sinful activities in the world? Then he said, you give me two things. You give me facility for chanting, hearing, and give me facility for distributing prasadam. Then what will happen? By distribution of prasadam and chanting and hearing, the sinful tendencies of people will go away and they will not indulge in sins. At the same time, they will do auspicious work for others, welfare work like Jagannath Rath Yatra. Like every time we have festival like Ram Navami, Balaram Purnima, then Gaur Purnima, Nityanand Trayodashi, Janmashtami, Radhashtami, calling so many people. And actually, we can keep so many programs, but people start complaining that every time some festival is there. In month, almost 2-3 festival only. And every festival people are eating only. So the people will say, Arey, what? You have to do nothing, simply eat. So the process is like that. It's a welfare activity. Just in a nice way, it is doing welfare activity. So if people are trained in Krishna consciousness, not to commit sin, and then just surrender to Krishna, at the same time, how they can do a welfare act like preaching, conducting festivals, opening centers, and then teaching people how to live their life in a more Krishna conscious way. So like that. So here Prabhupada mentions that. So this moment, everyone is agreeing. Rup Goswami and other learned scholars agree that the broad propaganda, what is that? Broad propaganda program for Krishna conscious movement of devotional service all over the world is the highest humanitarian welfare activity. This is the highest. So Subhada. So whole world will get Subhada if they perform these devotional activities. How the Krishna conscious movement can attract the attention of the whole world and how each and every man can feel pleasure in Krishna consciousness is stated in Padma Purana. A person engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is understood to be doing the best service to the whole world and to be pleasing everyone in the world. So do two things mentioned. A person who is in full Krishna consciousness, he is doing devotional service, then he is doing best service to the whole world and he is also pleasing everyone. It means it's not that he's doing some best work, but people are also angry with him. No, people are not angry. People are very pleased with him. Even he's pleasing to trees, animals, because they also become attracted by such movement. So this is example Prabhupada gives of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's going to Jharkhand forest. So even animals who have who do not have a human consciousness, who are simply standing at one place, plants and animals are just moving around, but even they become happy by Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness, we should understand, it makes animals happy, it makes plants happy, it is good for them, and it makes human surely happy. Furthermore, a person engaged in Krishna consciousness acting in devotional service can develop all good qualities. Now, this is another thing. So, what we are discussing here, this is that we are discussing the second characteristics of devotional service, that is Subhada. So, what is Subhada? Mentioned here. सभी ये हो गया. Yes. Subhadattvam, Subhadattvam, Subhani Pridhanam, सर्व जगताम अनुरक्तता, सद्गुणा सुखम इत्य आदिन्य आख्यातानि मनीषिभिः. The next and second unique characteristics of Uttama Bhakti, namely its bestowal of auspiciousness, is discussed. The wise explain that there are 4 kinds of auspiciousness. What are those? Affection for living entities. So what is that? Pridhanam, Subhani, Pridhanam, affection for other people. Okay. Second, being attractive to all the living entities. So one becomes attracted to all the Jagat, Sarva Jagatam Anuraktata. The world becomes attracted. So first, he is very much compassionate to them, Pirinanam, and the world also becomes very much attracted to him. Then the third is Sadguna, उसके अंदर सद्गुण आ जाते हैं. Possession of all good qualities appear in him. And the last one is happiness. Sukham. To Sukham. So these are 4 things in Subhada. How pure devotion service gives Subhada or auspiciousness in the world. The devotee becomes compassionate. He starts doing compassionate work, auspicious work for the whole world, or welfare work. And the people also become very happy by his work. Even animals become happy, plants become happy. Sarva jagatam anuraktata. And then in him good qualities also develop. All sadguna and happiness also. So in his life he becomes very happy. Sukham. This is a bhakti sukham. Huh? This is bhakti sukham. This is what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Yes. Furthermore, a person engaged in Krishna conscious acting devotion can develop all good qualities. So this is sadguna that are generally found in demigods. So what are the qualities in demigods? We know that yasyasti bhakti bhagavat akinchana sarvair guna tatra samasate sura harao bhakta sukuto mahatmana. So that one. My dear king, persons who have unflinching faith in the king are without any duplicity. In Krishna are without any duplicity, can develop all good qualities of the demigods. So unflinching faith in Krishna and without duplicity. One can have all good qualities. On account of a devotee's high grade of Krishna consciousness, even demigods like to live with him, and therefore it can be understood that the quality of the demigods have developed within his body. On the other hand, a person who is not Krishna consciousness had no good qualities. He might be highly educated from academic point of view, but in actual field of activities, he can be seen to be baser than animal. मतलब क्या है, जब जरूरत पड़ेगा तो वो जानवर भी बन जाएगा. वो बाहर से कभी कोई शांत दिखता है और बहुत अच्छा दिखेगा, बट when the real turning point comes in his life, he can become animal or lesser than animal. Even though a person is highly educated academically, if he cannot go beyond the sphere of mental activities, then he is sure to perform only materialistic activities, thus remain impure. There are so many persons in the modern world who have been highly educated in materialistic university, but it is seen that they cannot take to the moment of Krishna consciousness and develop the highest or high qualities of demigods. For example, a Krishna conscious boy, even if he is not very well educated by university standard, can immediately give up illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, intoxication. Whereas those who are not Krishna consciousness, or those who are not in Krishna consciousness, although very highly educated, are often drunkards, meat eaters, sex mongers, and gamblers. These are the practical proofs of how a Krishna conscious person becomes highly developed in good qualities, whereas a person who is not Krishna conscious cannot do so. We experience that even a young boy in Krishna consciousness is unattached to cinema, nightclubs, naked dance, so restaurants, liquor shops, etc. He becomes completely freed. He saves his valuable time from being extravagantly spent in the way of smoking, drinking, attending to theater and dancing. One who is not Krishna. So these are the things Prabhupada clearly mentions, or he brings the expectation of a person, expectation for a person who is in Krishna consciousness. He should not be attached to these things. Restaurants, naked dance shows, cinemas, nightclubs. Like somebody tomorrow may ask, why don't you go to cinema? What is the problem? This is the thing. What is the problem? Because these are all what? Materialistic activities. Impure, and only just all involve some kind of sin. So one does not watch all these things. Then going to liquor shop or naked dance, or no, nothing. Smoking, drinking, attending to theater, no. So one who is not in Krishna consciousness usually cannot sit silent even for half an hour. The yoga system teaches that if people become silent, you will realize you are God. This system may be all right for materialistic persons, but how long will they be able to keep themselves silent? Artificially, they may sit down for so-called meditation, but immediately after the yogic performance, they will engage themselves again in such activities as illicit sex, gambling, meat eating, and many other nonsensical things. So this is the thing, and we can see that. Like people may join any yoga process, Ramdev Baba ya koi bhi, but they cannot avoid doing these sins. For them, they may think this is not sin also. This is our enjoyment. This is our personal life. what we have to do with other leaving those things. We have to just enjoy those things. People see like that. But a Krishna conscious person gradually elevates himself without endeavoring for this so-called silent meditation. Simply because he is engaged in Krishna consciousness, he automatically gives up all this nonsense and develops a high character. One develops the high character by becoming a pure devotee of Krishna. The conclusion is that no one can truly have any good quality if he is lacking Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness means, okay, we have to think about serving Krishna. We have to, when we think, then we start doing those things. Okay, I am free. Now let me do some service to Krishna. In this way, one should always think, I'm a servant. Always I'm servant. I'm not servant of Maya, that I should think how I can enjoy. I am servant of Krishna. How I can serve Krishna in this situation, in this time. So Sarvakalika, all the time one has to think about it, that how I can serve Krishna. So because of this attitude, he does not misses service to Krishna, or he always remain engaged. So yes, Rupa Goswami Pad has analyzed these different source of happiness. He has divided the happiness in three categories: happiness derived from material enjoyment, happiness derived from identifying oneself with Supreme Brahman, and happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. So these three things, which we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. So any question?
Praji, in the book there are subheadings given, like in this there is no subheading, but in the book there are subheadings given, like happiness in Krishna consciousness. So like that.
What is given?
Subheadings, Praji. Like here it is given happiness in Krishna consciousness. The next paragraph, yes, Praji.
Acha, okay. Happiness in Krishna consciousness given. Heading is given,
Yes, Praji, heading is given.
But here it's not there, na?
Heading is not given, Praji. Even in the previous part it was given Krishna consciousness is all auspicious. So that heading
Actually, in Veda base only not there. I have taken from Veda
yes,
base.
Praji, Veda base
It's
it is
not
not
there
there.
in Veda base. Okay. Okay, so tomorrow, as I mentioned, class from 2 to 4, but I got little misunderstood. I misunderstood actually. The seva is later only, so we can have class same time, 11 to 1 tomorrow. Same time class will be there. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhakti Swami Sindhu ki jai, Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai, Hare Krishna. We'll end here.